Give a huge round of applause for Mr. Lewis Black.
I'm Lewis Black. I'm a comedian and playwright and an actor, I guess. I grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is about 20 minutes outside Washington, D.C. So it's suburbs. It's a great place to be from. But I feel more at home at New York now. In Maryland, local news. Our local news was national news. Well, I mean, when I was growing up, I thought I was going to be a playwright. I was in theater, and I really liked theater. And so my inspirations were, people like Samuel Beckett and Samuel Shepard, writers like Ibsen and Pinter and Strindberg and John Osborne, a British writer, and there was a whole bunch of them. And there were writers, fiction writers like Joseph Heller wrote Catch-22, which is a terrific book, and there was a play called by a guy named Herb Gardner called The Thousand Clowns. That had a big effect. But I listened also to comics, and a lot of them, and I like George Carlin and Richard Pryor and Lily Tomlin and George Burns and the Marx Brothers and it's a kind of Lenny Bruce. I could literally sit here and give you a list of about 100 people who really had a major influence on me. Kurt Vonnegut, who's if you read Kurt Vonnegut, I'm just telling you, read him. He's really he translates into any language. He gets it. The main role of comedy is to get people to laugh. And if it doesn't get people to laugh, you're screwed. People are not going to sit there and go, wow, that was really an interesting point. Boy, that's another interesting point. Boy, I could have gone to a lecture tonight. You better have a good story. 98% of what theater is. There's a 2%, 4% of theater that is, avant-garde, experimental, but even that has, no matter, you can look at all Ionesco and others, and it's still a story, and you better have a good story to tell, and I think that's the real drive behind theater. So it's good to get out. I think education is first, and I really believe travel is vital, and that you have to see how other people look at things in order for you to grow and to learn, and that there are other ways to do things, and there are other ways to look at things, and there's that we all don't approach everything the same way, and yet there is a common bond between us. Coming here, there's you've got to really, it helps you develop, I think it makes you a better comic by trying to figure out how you got a story now. You now try to tell this story to some people who don't even understand what you're saying. Can you make them laugh? And I think that's great. And I think it's been good for me to be in the situation where to go back to where it's like going back to my roots. And yeah, I try to talk to people. I mean, I'm not. For someone who goes out on the stage and talks to a whole bunch of people, I'm kind of I'm shy. I can't believe I said that, but I am. But I'm generally, I would put myself on the shy side, so I don't really, and if I can if there's some reason to talk to someone, I'll talk to them. But I did, along the way, I've certainly met people backstage and stuff and asked questions. And there really is a different sense of, it's not just a language thing. You guys have a different personal kind of the way you carry yourselves than the way we carry ourselves. Part of it for me coming here was to try to find other ways to. I'm always kind of essentially expressing somewhat the same thing over and over and over again, and trying to find a funnier and a more meaningful way to put it. I mean, the only way to be a comic is you're not going to meet anybody, and they're going to get you, time on stage. You have to get up in front of people you don't know over and over and over and over and every night. If I don't work for 2 weeks, I'm not as good as I was. It's a constant. It's a craft that you constantly got to be working on, and especially in order to learn it. Because learning comedy is like it's like learning boxing to me. But if you were learning boxing, if they tied your arms down and somebody just hits you for a while, which is what the audience does. I think the most important advice you ever give anybody who's young is that if there's something, I believe people don't agree with me. I think it's not true. I think what is true is that everyone at a point in their life stumbles on something that they really love. Generally, the parental units have a tendency, if it's a little off or it's a totally different direction, or they think the parents always bring something to a kid's table that is based on their nonsense. But if you find something you really love, once you find it, you pursue it, and don't let anybody stop you from pursuing it. And because no matter what happens, you'll be happy, and that's really all that matters. Is to make work something that isn't work. If you find that thing that you love, you may not end up doing exactly what you wanted to do, but you will end up doing something that you love doing. I believe that, and I believe that everyone has that, comes across that. I've talked to people who go, no, I don't really know. You knew at one time. As soon as you have that spark, you just go and follow it. Don't let anybody screw with it. I'd use another word, but they won't let me. It was fun, guys. And if any of you kids out there are thinking of playwriting, don't, okay? It's advice from someone who did it for a long, long time. You want to try your hand at it, great, and then go on to something else.